getting ready to do another unboxing. Ricky, how's the boxes coming along, man?
I don't know, man. This weird box came in. It's left on our doorstep.
What does that say?
Put these on.
Put these on? Well, alright, well, open it up. It says Unboxing Wednesdays. What are these? Hats? Let's put them on, shall we?
My word.
Dear me, Richard. We've been locked inside those hats forever.
Yes, Mr. Hickey.
I believe it's time we classed up this establishment.
Let's get this popsicle stand up to snuff.
Comic books are fine and all, but what I crave is artistry.
Indeed.
Art. This store needs more art. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, quite, my good man. Let us get some more art.
I have to be honest with you, Richard. I don't feel right looking at art unless I've had the proper refreshments.
Cheer, cheer, my good man.
I say, Richard, I would like to wet my beak, as it were.
I do say so myself.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
A toast
To rejuvenation.
to rejuvenation and classing up this classless establishment.
Pinky.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
I do say that is some of the most finest ginger ale I've tasted this side of 1921. Well, waste not, want not, Richard. Down the hatch.
I'm driving my chariot home, my good man.
Now, what would definitely hit the spot after such a refreshing beverage would be, some form of yum-yum.
Some kind of din-din.
Let us partake in some snacks, shall we? Ah, here we go.
Oh, yes.
Ah,
White.
some fine chocolate biscuits, I must say. There you are, a penny for your troubles. I love the working class, thank you.
Be gone. So good to see the working class.
These are simply divine.
My brother once tried to marry a working class girl. We stoned them both to death.
Now, Richard, what say we take this opportunity that's been bestowed upon us to share with all of these people
Yes.
out on YouTube what will be going on at Stadium Comics on Saturday, November 17th.
Well, you fine gentle sirs and madams, on November 17th, we'll be having an art show.
Yes, this Stadium Comics first annual art exhibition and sale will be happening right here at this, what is now a classless establishment, but by Saturday, November 17th, will be upgraded to a bastion of art.
My word, I hope Mr. Churchill himself comes.
So why would a couple of fine establishment types like you and I come out to this art exhibition here at Stadium Comics on November 17th?
For fine opium, of course.
Oh, yes.
To purchase art, of course.
Well, I'm sure all of you are wondering what kind of artistry will be on display here at Stadium Comics on Saturday, November 17th. Well, I'm about to show you. As my lower class equivalent Kevin would say, let's open some boxes and show some fine art. Ah, yes, the Neil Adams collection. One of comics' most prolific artists, known throughout the land for his depiction of characters such as Batman and the Joker. Here's a Joker print that will be available. Here's a very famous cover of Green Lantern, Green Arrow, in which Green Arrow discovers that his ward, Speedy, is a junkie. Don't worry, Speedy, we've all been there. All of our wards are junkies.
My word, heroin isn't even a bad thing. It's completely medicinal.
Agreed. And here's a very famous Batman cover, illustrated by Neil Adams, featuring the Joker. Now, it should be noted that all of the art prints that we are showing here today are signed by the original artist. So not only will you get a fine piece of art, but it will be autographed by the person who drew it himself, or herself. Next, we have the Greg Horn collection. Greg Horn is known for his photorealistic portrayals of comic book characters, and his art has been featured on many comic covers. Here is a depiction of Batman. Fans of the Avengers talkie, that's movie in our language, will enjoy this picture of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Ah yes, the Baroness from G.I. Joe in all of her splendor.
Indeed, when will Queen Victoria be on a print herself?
My sources say Greg Horn is working on it right now. Here is Superman. One of the most popular comic book characters of the last decade is Deadpool, and Greg Horn does a great job depicting him here. Ah, Richard, I believe I found that portrait of Queen Victoria you were looking for. Oh, my mistake. That is Emma Frost, the White Queen of the X-Men universe.
If only, my good man, if only. I'd be a lot more patriotic.
Sure to be a popular item at our store is the Joker and Harley Quinn. And finally, the last piece from the Greg Horn collection is the Incredible Hulk. Next up, we have the works of Mr. Whilce Portacio. Here is his depiction of Batman. Wolverine, again, I can't stress this enough, all of these prints are signed by the artists.
My good man, where did you get these prints signed?
This, my good man, was part of my journey to the Isle of Manhattan a couple of fortnights ago.
No, I heard
Yes.
they're developing that area.
They are, it's coming along quite nicely.
Chip chip.
Here is another Batman by Whilce Portacio. Ah yes, Mr. Peter Nguyen. Here is a piece that I like to call The Robins. Also from the same artist, we have The Women of the DC Universe. And a piece I like to call The Gotham City Sirens. Next I will present to you, Richard, some fine works of art from a man they call Art Germ. Stanley Art Germ Lau, who has provided us with this beautiful Wonder Woman portrait. Here is Jean Grey portrayed as the Phoenix, Power Girl, and the voracious Miss Black Cat. Next we have the works of a Mr. Jim Chung, known for his artistry on books such as Avengers: The Children's Crusade, and books such as Avengers vs. X-Men. Here is a print from Avengers vs. X-Men. Another Avengers vs. X-Men. Cyclops is giving Captain America a good thumping in this image.
My good man, everybody gives America a good thumping. Do you remember the Civil War?
The War of 1812, I believe you mean, Ricky.
Yes, those Americans.
Everyone remembers that crossover event from the spring and summer of 2012 known as Spider-Men. Here is a print of Jim Chung's cover for that comic. This image was the cover for Avengers vs. X-Men issue number 1. And here is an image of Captain America vs. Wolverine. This print can now hang on your wall.
Indeed, all the prints can hang on your wall, my good man.
Indeed. Why would a guy with a beret be talking with a British accent, by the way?
I'm cultured.
Ah yes, what mastery of the craft. This is Paulo Rivera drawing Daredevil, heavily influenced by Japanese woodblock styles. The Jenny Friesen collection. Jenny, I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Jenny Friesen is the cover artist to the hit series from Image Comics known as Revival. Here's a print of the cover to issue number 1 signed by Miss Friesen herself. Here is the cover for an upcoming issue of Revival and a rendition of Poison Ivy. Might I suggest to you that all of these art prints are suitable for framing?
You may suggest this.
Most of them will come with this handy plastic top loader apparatus, but they are suitable to be framed and displayed on your walls. From Mr. Ivan Rice, DC artist extraordinaire, we have Batman. And here is his depiction of the New 52 Justice League. Now I submit to you, Richard, the works of Mr. Jamal Igle, a superstar when it comes to art in the DC universe, and his run on Supergirl was acclaimed by many. Here is a Supergirl print. Here is a New York Comic-Con Amazing Spider-Man exclusive print. Mr. Richard Grayson, aka Nightwing, leaping from the Empire State Building. Here we have the Flash. And Zatanna. I must say I do like her top hat. Richard, have you read an issue of Scarlet Spider?
My good man, I have. I believe that is a disease that is going around.
No. That's the Scarlet Fever, my good man.
My good man, you are correct.
Thus, if you had read Scarlet Spider, you'd be well acquainted with the artistry of Mr. Ryan Stegman, who I present to you a print of in this instance right now. Here is another Scarlet Spider drawing which features Venom. Also by Ryan Stegman, Wolverine. Fine Canadian chap, that Wolverine. And this one is very prized in my collection. It is the yet unreleased Superior Spider-Man, which will be illustrated by Ryan Stegman and will be written by Dan Slott and comes out in January of the year 2013. Who wouldn't want to have a print signed by Ryan Stegman of Superior Spider-Man on their walls? Ah yes, The Walking Dead, and who can forget Ryan Ottley's Michonne cover from issue 100. Here we have a limited art print, numbered out of 250 and signed by Mr. Audley himself of that fantastic cover. Somebody who's been making waves with their profound illustrations on the cover of Image comic books has been Chris Giarrusso. He's been seen paying tribute to many first editions of Image comic books. And here we have his portrayal of this very famous issue of Captain America #1, where Captain America is punching Hitler in the face.
I'd give him one of these.
Please, Richard, you're above fisticuffs.
Sometimes you have to, my good man.
And here is his tribute to Avengers, issue 1, featuring all of your favorites, Loki, Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man. One man that I tip my hat to when it comes to matters of the female form in comics is Mr. J. Scott Campbell. Here is his portrayal of the Black Cat. Mrs. Gwen Stacy, first female companion of Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man. And of course, Miss Mary Jane Watson, one of J. Scott Campbell's most stunning women. From Mr. Tony Moore, co-creator of The Walking Dead, we have Venom. What's this? It's the cover to issue 1 of The Walking Dead, signed by Mr. Moore. A must-have for any Walking Dead collector. That's more or less it for the works that I picked up from the Isle of Manhattan for the New York Comic Con, which happened back in October. We will also be featuring the works of some local artists here at the store on November 17th, such as Miss Agnes Garboska, whose cute artwork delights and inspires. Here's Michonne from The Walking Dead, Marceline from The Scream Queens of Adventure Time. Richard, I believe you're a fan of that particular show.
That show indeed is top shelf.
And here's Han and Chewie, and there's so many more to choose from. We just thought we'd show you a few. From Mr. Daniel Wong, we have several prints, including this beautiful Poison Ivy and this Deadpool. Richard, when one speaks of fine, upstanding young gentlemen, one name comes to mind.
Yes,
And that is Mr. Adam Gorham.
that dapper gentleman.
The one man who I would say is more dapper than we are.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Certainly is attractive.
Here we have his impeccable Batman vs. Joker print. Sure to be a hit with those that are a fan of The Dark Knight.
My word, I told that Mr. Gorham to build me a fence. Still has not built me a fence.
And who can forget the artistry of one Vince Sunico from Spent Pencils? We'll have many of his fine illustrated comic covers on display, as well as some of his comic art prints. Richard, I think the moral of the story here is everybody who has a flair for the artistic should be coming out to Stadium Comics on Saturday, November 17th to purchase one of these fine images that we've shown them today.
My good sir, you are correct.
And lest anyone think that these fine works of art will be out of their price range, fear not! They start as low as $4.99 and go up from there. Needless to say, we will have art for every budget. Now, Richard, it would not be an episode of... what crass name do they give it? Unboxing Wednesdays?
Ugh. Ugh.
It would not be an episode of Unboxing Wednesdays unless we were to give out an endowment.
My good man, I know exactly what we should bequeath to our audience.
Ah,
This sketch, this print, made by myself.
if it isn't a tiger, Richard!
Yes, indeed, I went to the most exotic reaches of Asia, and I captured one myself.
In order to win this Tiger Ricky, please tell us which of the pieces of artwork that we showed you today would you be most interested in, other than Tiger Ricky, of course, and why? Is there any particular artist that you saw today that you are a big fan of? We would indeed like to see your comments. The best answer will be chosen after our exhibition on Saturday, November 17th. We're going to bring this to a close for this particular episode. Fear not, the regular Kevin and Ricky will return for the next episode of
Yes.
Unboxing Wednesdays.
Sadly, indeed, those wretches will be back. Phew.
We want to thank you all for watching. We hope to see you all here on Saturday, November 17th, which, Richard, I might add, is only 3 days after our all-new X-Men launch party.
My
on
word.
Wednesday, November 14th. Go to stadiumcomics.com for all the details on both events. Remember that you can connect with us on any of the websites you see listed here on the screen. Richard, Have you had the opportunity to use the internet?
These interwebs are too confusing for my feeble little mind. I have not used any of it. Except for porn.
Take care, everyone. Enjoy your works of art. And we'll see you all here at Stadium Comics on November 17th. My word, what's this? A bill!
Ooh.
For the champagne!
My good man, it's all up to you.
No, my good man. It's all up to Mr. Robert Sinnott, co-proprietor of this fine establishment.